For those who came in late, Batman Beyond is a spin-off television series that started up after the classic Batman animated series ended. It takes place 40 years after the original series. Bruce Wayne has retired and is now an old man, and the mantle of Batman has been picked up by a teenage boy named Terry McGinnis. It was just like the original animated series, only with new villains, a science fiction setting, and a new teenage Batman who had to learn and develop to carry on Batman's legacy. The series was dark, edgy, well-written, and completely awesome. Fans of the original series loved it, and it continues to be a cult favorite despite its short lifetime of only 3 seasons. Eventually, Batman Beyond got a direct-to-video feature-length movie, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, and it kicked ass too. Not only did it have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill reprising their legendary roles as the one true Batman and Joker, but it felt like a proper farewell to the old Batman cartoons, and it felt like the old heroes were passing the torch to the new generation. The movie also stands as one of the darkest Batman stories ever told, but that's another rant. So how do you make an awesome movie about an awesome TV show even better? You make an awesome video game about it. Batman Beyond Return of the Joker on the Nintendo 64. So you start the game up and... wow, this music blows chunks. Get used to ear rape because during every single level in this game you get the pleasure of listening to 10-second loops of awkward techno beats. At the start of each level you get to select one of 4 suits to use: Standard, Offense, Defense, and Nimble. The Standard suit has 3 gadgets to help you out in combat. The Offense suit hits harder and has the strength to open the gray metal crates so you can get extra items. The Defense suit has shields that can block attacks, and the Nimble suit has the ability to double jump and glide. This sounds like a good way to design a game, but this idea is ruined by 3 fatal flaws. I have played through the entire game several times. You will barely ever use the double jump, and you will never, ever use the glide, so the Nimble suit is entirely useless. 2. You can find the other suits in item boxes during the levels and switch between them on the fly. By the time you get to level 3, you're about guaranteed to have all 4 suits with you, so the only point of selecting a suit is deciding what abilities you start out with. And 3, and probably the biggest flaw with the game, the Defense suit has a move called the Shield Punch that is triggered by pressing the C left button while moving the joystick. This attack is twice, if not 3 times as powerful as every other attack in the game, and you can use the attack over and over again at no cost. So the Defense suit has a ridiculously overpowered attack, and it can block almost every enemy attack in the game. Why would you ever want to use anything else? The Defense suit is to balanced combat what a sledgehammer is to a thumb. And the weird thing is, the game's instruction manual actually recommends that experienced players use the Offense and Nimble suits instead of the Standard and Defense. But let's be honest, do you know anyone who's going to willingly handicap themselves just to enhance the experience of a game that wasn't well designed in the first place? So this is the first level of the game where you have to stop the Joker's robbery of Gotham Air in space, which is the first scene in the movie. And if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that I have run down 2 identical hallways and beat up a few henchmen. This game is nothing but a beat-em-up game, and that's it. So now I'm fighting this mini-boss, a crane operator who tries to drop bricks on your head the entire fight. This could have been a really fun and challenging boss, but there's one slight problem. A few shield punches, and he's dead. Are you starting to see the problem? And here's a giant robot. A few shield punches, and he's dead too. So once you run down some more identical hallways and beat up some more identical henchmen, you'll come across the boss of the first level, Bonk, who's one of the Joker's thugs from the movie. Bonk likes to attack you by releasing shockwaves to send you flying back, so he could be a strong boss, but there's one slight problem. Poor bastard never stood a chance. Let's take a moment to discuss the cutscenes. They suck! Every cutscene is just a still image with text dialogue underneath it. All of the dialogue is in text. There is not a single clip of voice acting anywhere in the game, not even the Joker's signature laugh. These cutscenes just seem really cheap. Wasn't the Nintendo 64 capable of more than this? The weird thing is, most of these images in these cutscenes aren't even taken from the movie. That's freaking scary! Alright, level 2, Wayne Enterprises. You have to stop another robbery and rescue Bruce from the Joker at the top of the building. This level is exactly the same as level 1, except a few of the enemies are a little stronger and the backgrounds are different. The music isn't different, but the backgrounds are. So let's go ahead and talk about the game's combat, since what else is there to talk about right now? You can press the B button to punch an enemy in the face and the A button to kick them in the shins, but there aren't any combos that use both buttons. All you do is mash one of the two buttons until the enemy is dead. Every single time you fight enemies, they'll attack you two at a time. Two enemies will come out and a new one will spawn in once you kill one of them, and you repeat this process until the entire group has been knocked out and you can move on. Isn't most of the fun of a beat-em-up game from getting swarmed by enemies and having to fight your way out of a tight spot? The first several times that you hit an enemy, they will flinch and you'll be able to attack while they're vulnerable. But the fifth or so time that you hit them, they won't flinch. They'll just hit you without pausing. It doesn't matter how much time passes between your fourth and fifth attack, that fifth strike will not make them flinch and they'll hit you. It's pretty cheap, but I guess it's some attempt to make the combat less mindless. The boss of level 2 is Wolf, a hyena splicer. He's fast and he jumps around and he likes to fire nails at you, so he could be a pretty strong boss, except there's one slight problem. And the manimal goes down. Level 3 is Arkham Asylum as you go looking for clues about the Joker. Do you remember that scene from the movie? Because I sure don't. Wait a minute, why am I not running? Is it... Ah, damn it. You see that blue dot at the top of the screen there? That means that you're in stealth mode. You can turn on stealth mode by pressing the L button. And what exactly does stealth mode do? It makes you walk slower, and other than that, does nothing. Why would you do that? Why would you program an action into a video game that does less than nothing? All stealth mode does is hinder you. Why would... Ugh. As for the actual level, what do you want me to say? You run down some more identical corridors and beat the crap out of some more slightly stronger henchmen. And that's it. There are a few doors in the background that you can go through though. You want to know what's inside them? Nothing! Nothing except for bottomless pits that you can throw yourself down and waste a life. And you want to know what I just realized? I am still listening to the same damn music, that same damn 10-second loop that's been playing ever since I started the game. So the boss of this level is Ghoul. Today's lesson is pain. That's really the quip you're going to go with. The way this fight works is Ghoul jumps in, takes a shot at you, then he disappears and 4 wall-mounted flamethrowers attack you. That's actually a pretty good idea for a boss, but there's one problem. Taunt button! Haha! It's a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 reference, it's Deadpool. So after the cliff notes of the movie's flashback scene, you go on to level 4, Tim Drake's laboratory. This level has no enemies. Like, at all. You run forward, you punch a computer, and then you leave. And that's it. So then you move on to... Wait, what? Final stage? I've only been playing this game for 22 minutes and I'm already on the final stage? What the hell, man? What the hell? The Candy Factory is my favorite level for a few reasons, not the least of which being that we finally get some different music. We have swapped out a 10-second techno loop for a 15-second techno loop. Wait a second, Dark Knight Discus? Batman's throwing weapons are called batarangs, everybody knows that. This level also has enemies that are actually worth a damn. There's the massive hulking black guy who has tons of HP and takes a ton of punches to knock down, and the guy with the flamethrower who will fall down to fake you out and then get back up again. I cannot tell you how much of a relief it is to finally have enemies that can fight. There are 2 mini-bosses in this level, Chucko, who has a ton of guns to shoot you with, and the Dee Dee sisters, who will respawn infinitely while you try to destroy a computer. They both could have been really challenging and unique bosses, but guess what? There's a problem! So blah blah blah, you eventually run into the Joker, you fight him, and just like every other boss in the game, he goes down faster than ticket sales for the Green Lantern movie. The Clown Prince of Crime punked out by a few seconds by smashing a shield against his face. And that's it. That's all there is to see in the game. You want to know how long it took me to beat this game? From turning the power on to turning the power off? 33 minutes and 53 seconds! That's it, and that's at least 10 minutes of that is unskippable cutscenes. There aren't even any end credits, as if the people who made this game were ashamed of it. I will say that this game isn't pure punishment like The Last Ninja was, but it's dull, it's repetitive, and lest we forget, it's only half an hour long! It's just frustrating because Batman Beyond had so much potential for a good game, and they squandered it on a boring side-scrolling beat-em-up that would have been standard for the NES. How do you make a movie licensed game that's even shorter than the movie that it's licensed on? How do you do that? And the sad thing is, this is the only one we have. No developer ever since has even attempted a Batman Beyond game. This is what we're stuck with. Oh well, maybe once Rocksteady is done with Arkham City, they'll take a crack at it. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.